Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And once again, this is the one-day chart. We're sitting here at $2.13. XRP is gradually bouncing back with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is back up over 105K as well. But you know, this is how real-world events play a factor on your crypto holdings. And it's like every time this market seems to get moving, right away something has to happen. It's like this run is meant to be prolonged for a reason. You got to remember, a lot of things are going to happen during this run. We're going to see the Ripple versus SEC case wrap up. Fedwire is going to go live. ISO is going to go live. Regulations are going to be put in place. XRP ETFs are going to happen. All that is going to happen during this run. And even Jacob King pointed this out. War erupts in the Middle East between Iran and Israel, and Bitcoin crashes like dead weight. The truth is, Bitcoin isn't a safe haven. It thrives only in calm markets, propped up by tether-fueled speculation and artificial demand. Whenever real crisis hits, whether it's geopolitical conflict or a pandemic, Bitcoin is the first to nosedive. Expect the same when the next major recession hits, erasing its entire bull run in a flash. And I agree with that. Bitcoin is very volatile when it comes to real-world events. I mean, we just watched the president and Elon Musk have a feud. What happened? Bitcoin crashed, taking the rest of the market with it. I cannot wait until the rest of the market decouples from Bitcoin. That will happen with utility. Well, I went all in 2020 with iTrust Capital IRA, and it has made all the difference. This comes from James Rule, XRP. There's a good chance crypto is spreading into your retirement account. In fact, cryptocurrency may already be snuggled in your nest egg, whether you know it or not. I pointed out last year that many retirement portfolios, including my own, contain Bitcoin indirectly through broad, diversified index funds that owned a company then known as MicroStrategy. It changed its name in February to just plain Strategy, which its founder, Michael Saylor, said was better for the brand. The company runs a declining software business, but it keeps growing anyway. Its main assets, if you want to call them that, are Bitcoin and market frenzy. People are now starting to write articles telling you the truth about what's really going on. And the fact that they're tying Bitcoin to all these retirement funds, I don't think that's a good idea at all. Sure, it's great when Bitcoin has momentum and it's running up, but what happens when it corrects? The 4-year cycle may be ending, but it's ending for Bitcoin. It's not ending for utility. That's the facts that nobody wants to tell you. The mainstream media news sells Bitcoin as an up-only investment, and it's not. We know that because we're crypto investors, and we know about the previous cycles. Gotbit, CEO sentenced for crypto fraud. So he repeatedly used fraudulent trading practices to inflate the perceived popularity and liquidity of various cryptocurrencies, misleading investors and undermining market integrity. Today's sentencing sends a clear message that such market manipulation will not be tolerated in the U.S. financial markets. Now, right now, everybody believes that Bitcoin's price is very manipulated. You could say the same thing about other cryptocurrencies as well. including XRP. But I think once regulations come, I think it's going to end the market manipulation. I'm sure they're going to have laws, even more strict laws, when it comes to market manipulation. Maybe that's where it ends. Let's see what happens. This comes from Good Morning Crypto. 8 companies now plan on launching an XRP treasury. Trident, 500 million. Weebus, 300 million. Vivo Power, 121 million. Logistics, 50 million. Hyperscale, 10 million. Worksport, 5 million. BC Bud, 250K. Digital Com, 225K. Hundreds of companies will be launching XRP treasuries in 2025 and beyond. This is only the beginning. And I agree with that. Somebody said earlier today that Trident stock fell when they announced the $500 million investment into XRP. And that's a given. You know, people that invest in stock, they don't like crypto. They figured out ways to make money in the stock market. So any mention of a company getting involved with crypto, at first you could expect the stock to drop, but later it will absolutely rebound. Think about what these companies are going to utilize XRP for: to make payments, to save the company money. So payments can happen in a matter of 3 to 5 seconds for less than a penny, instead of 3 to 5 days for $20 or $30. But this is going to continue. XRP treasuries are going to be set up like liquidity pools. Whenever these companies want to make a transaction, they know they have that XRP on hand. They know that it's in that liquidity pool. And I posted this earlier today, and I left out ADA. Somebody asked me, you said the hateful 8. So what is XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, QNT, Algo, IOTA? I should have added ADA to you. What are they to you? I said, to me, it's an addiction that funds itself over time. And crypto is absolutely an addiction. The very first time you see your portfolio rise, even if it's a little bit, it's like you gotta buy more. And I remember when I first invested into crypto, I was like all in. I mean, I was seeing all these people get rich off meme coins back then. But then I realized not everybody gets rich off of meme coins. So then I shifted and I started learning what good at cryptocurrencies are, like if they solve real world problems. And even back then, I invested in Bitcoin because I looked at Bitcoin as a store, a place to store my money other than a bank account back then. And all the hype was there, even back then, for Bitcoin. I'm talking pre-2020. But then I started to realize that when you promote something the way they promote Bitcoin, there's something wrong with it. And then I started realizing that it's tied to Tether. I realized at some point something's going to break. And I don't think Bitcoin will ever go to zero. I think it will definitely crash out with Tether when the time comes. But I think it's going to take a very long time for it to bounce back, because it really does not solve any problems in the real world. You just can't transact in it at all. It's way too expensive and way too slow. But crypto, to me, I look at it like this. It's one of those things that it's a great addiction to have because it makes you want to keep buying more and more. But over time, it's going to make you a lot of money in return. It can give you financial freedom. BlackRock is saying crypto acts as a crucial gateway, helping institutions build comfort with digital assets before broader tokenization adoption. Also love the fact that Robbie Mitchnick is wearing a Ripple lanyard. This comes from Subjective Views. Take a listen to this clip.
Crypto is obviously the thing that delivers cash flow at the moment for BlackRock. What do you think is the potential for tokenization versus crypto in the future?
Well, I think what's interesting is sometimes there's been this, what I view as a false dichotomy presented, which is that, in the early days it was, some people said, blockchain, not Bitcoin. And now kind of the new form of that can be tokenization, not crypto. And I think that somewhat misses the point because these things are quite complementary, actually. And, if you think about bringing about a future tokenized state of the world versus, more institutional participation in crypto, which one's really riskier? When you think about it, having a bunch of institutions invest, a couple percent of their assets in this new asset class, which is volatile and risky, high return potential, high risk, but at some small percentage of assets, or migrating tens of trillions in assets to this new technology paradigm. I think when you put it that way, it's obvious that the second one is riskier, right? So that's where crypto actually is starting to serve this function as a valuable gateway for institutions to build comfort in this space and with this technology, dealing with digital asset custody, wallets, blockchain-based settlement, etc., that I think is going to prove to be an important catalyst of tokenization. And there, you've seen some of the dynamic that we've been focused on in our analysis, particularly with respect to Bitcoin. We think there's a misnarrative of sorts in the market, not a great understanding of Bitcoin, a big opportunity for education. We're playing that education role. I think this week was kind of a classic example of that. It would be very hard to make a solid fundamental analysis of why Bitcoin, as a non-sovereign, global, decentralized, scarce asset, is worth less today than it was on Monday because the Middle East is in turmoil, right? And so that delta between what fundamentally makes sense and the way it can be traded on a short-term basis is actually really undermining institutional adoption. And so I think as that gets better understood, it's going to help crypto adoption. Ultimately, it's going to help tokenization adoption.
And take notice, he even noticed how quick Bitcoin fell in price. BlackRock is eventually going to tokenize Bitcoin, and they're going to utilize it across other networks. That's the future of Bitcoin. People don't want to come to terms with it yet, but they will have to come to terms with that at some point in the future. And you got to remember who Robbie Mitchnick actually is. He came up with the Mitchnick model where he said XRP could be worth like $4,200 and change. He also now works at BlackRock. And if you think BlackRock doesn't know what Ripple is, doesn't know what XRP is, you're absolutely mistaken. I just don't understand why Larry Fink cannot talk about XRP. He's so quick to talk about Bitcoin, but he can never talk about XRP. And I think there is way more to that than we all know. I'm sure there's some sort of NDA in place. I'm absolutely sure of it. And Brad Garlinghouse said, I think people grossly underestimate how much momentum will be created by the largest economy in the world, finally shifting into a pro-innovation and pro-crypto posture. What Brad is telling you is, once you get regulations in place, and I think that is still holding back tokenization as well. But once you get that in place, all of a sudden, innovation starts to happen very fast. It's going to be like all of a sudden a massive wave of institutions are going to hit this space all at once. And where do you think those institutions are going to head to? They're going to go to the XRP ledger. They're going to go to the Stellar network. Some will use Hedera. They're going to use these networks that solve real world problems. And if you're not holding real world assets that can solve a real world problem, in other words, if you're not holding cryptocurrencies that actually fix something in the world, you are going to miss out on the greatest opportunity in this space. And I absolutely think it's going to begin over the coming months. Once regulations are announced for crypto, that's it. Between that and ISO, that will be our flip of the switch moment. But right now, XRP is still following Bitcoin. And until we break away from Bitcoin, every time Bitcoin dumps out, it's going to take XRP and the rest of the market with it. But the only way we break away from Bitcoin is once institutions get here, once utility starts driving the price of these utility-driven cryptocurrencies, that's when things will change very fast. And the 4-year cycle will be gone forever. But until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.